Lesson 5: Training. Training is the process for providing required skills to the employee for doing the job effectively, skillfully, and qualitatively. Training can help employees develop skills needed to perform their jobs, which directly affects the business. Giving employees opportunities to learn and develop creates a positive work environment, which supports the business strategy by attracting talented employees as well as motivating and retaining current employees. It improves their knowledge and skills to perform the jobs. It also makes the employees work more efficiently. Why do many other companies believe that an investment in training can help them gain a competitive advantage? Training can increase employees' knowledge of foreign competitors and cultures, which is critical for success in foreign markets. By implementing training program, the employees will be aware of the nature of international markets. Help ensure that employees have the basic skills to work with new technology, such as robots, computer-assisted manufacturing processes. Many businesses are now investing in technology, so it is also important to train employees on how to use these technologies that they need in performing their jobs. Help employees understand how to work effectively in teams to contribute to product and service quality. Almost all of the jobs requires you to work in a team. Teaching your employees as a team encourages teamwork, increases productivity, and creates a positive relationships. Ensure, ensure that the company's culture emphasizes innovation, creativity, and learning. Ensure employment security by providing new ways for employees to contribute to the company when their jobs change, their interests change, or their skills becomes obsolete. Job security is really important not only for the employees but also to the company itself. Showing employees that they are being valued will make them work harder and stay in the company. Prepare employees to accept and work more effectively with each other, particularly with minorities and women. There are some circumstances that some workers who don't know how to deal with others, especially those who don't have respect to their high ups and women. That's why teaching right behavior in the workplace is necessary. Designing effective formal training activities. Training design process refers to a systematic approach for developing training programs. Training design is developing new training and educational courses and lessons for your existing employees. It roots out the gaps in training and fills them with new material for better performance. It also allows your team to grow their skills rather than become static in their roles. It has 6 stages. Stage 1: Needs assessment is to assess needs to determine if training is needed. Stage 2: Ensuring employees' readiness for training involves ensuring employees have the readiness for training and they have the motivation and basic skills to master training content. Stage 3: Creating a learning environment addresses whether the training session or the learning environment has the factors necessary for learning to occur. Stage 4: Ensuring transfer training is to ensure that trainees apply the content of training to their jobs. This requires support from managers and peers for the use of training content on the job, as well as getting the employee to understand how to take personal responsibility for skill development improvement. Stage 5: Selecting training methods involves choosing a training method. Stage 1: Needs assessment process. Figure 7.3 shows the causes and outcomes resulting from needs assessment. The first step in stage 1 is to determine reason why you need to do the training. Second is analyze the information by conducting these three analyses. And finally, the decisions that you've come out with on how will you formulate the training. A training needs assessment is the only way to verify and validate the need, focus, skip, and target group for a training program. The goal of the training needs is to identify issues that can be remedied through the introduction, practice, or reinforcement of specific and measurable knowledge and or skill set. Needs assessment typically involves organizational analysis, person analysis, and task analysis. Organizational analysis involves determining the business appropriateness of training. Given the company's business strategy, is resources available for training and support by managers and peers for training activities. It also answers why your company needs training. Is it the right solution for the business problem? And does the company have the capability to do the training? Person analysis helps identify who needs training. Person analysis involves number 1, determining whether performance deficiencies result from a lack of knowledge, skill, or ability, a training issue, or from a motivational or work design problem. Number 2, identifying who needs training. And 3, determining employees' readiness for training and measuring their level of knowledge on the job. Task analysis includes identifying the important tasks and knowledge, skills, and behaviors that need to be emphasized in training for employees to complete their tasks. This is also called job analysis. It seeks to specify the main duties and skill level required. This helps ensure that the training which is developed will include relevant links to the content of the job. Organizational analysis. Three factors need to be considered before choosing training as the solution to any pressure point. Number 1, the support of managers and peers for training activities. 2, the company's strategy. And 3, the training resources available. Support of managers and peers. Various studies have found that peer and manager support for training is critical. The key factors to success are a positive attitude among peers and managers about participation in training activities. Managers and peers' willingness to tell trainees how they can more effectively use knowledge, skills, or behaviors learned in training on the job, and the availability of opportunities for the trainees to use training content in their job. The support of managers and peers for training is a big factor for trainees because the trainees depend on them. They are the ones who teach and guide. Everything they say affects the trainees and motivates them. Company strategy. Table 7.1 shows possible strategic initiatives and their application for training practices. This is an example of strategic training and development initiatives. It's an analysis to align training with business strategy. For example, your business has a problem in dealing with your customers because due to modern technology, customers now have access to databases and websites and have a greater awareness of high quality customer service. They are more knowledgeable, are better prepared, and have higher service expectations than before. And you, as a manager, wants your current or new employees to learn how to improve customer service. What you need to do? Ensure that employees have product and service knowledge. Ensure that employees have skills needed to interact with customers. Ensure that employees understand their roles and decision-making authority. Improve employee engagement. Ensure that employees have opportunities to develop. Ensure that employees understand career opportunities and personal growth opportunities. Ensure that training and development addresses employees' needs in current job as well as growth opportunities. Enhance innovation and creativity. Capture insight and information from knowledgeable employees. Logically organize and store information. Provide methods to make information available, for example, resource guides and websites. Dedicate physical space to encourage teamwork, collaboration, creativity, and knowledge sharing. Growth in global markets. Prepare high potential managers to take over global leadership positions. Cross-cultural preparation for expatriates. Train local workforce in company culture. Training resources. It is necessary to identify whether the company has the budget and time and expertise for training, or if the company has enough resources and facilities to do the training program. Table 7.2 provides examples of questions to ask vendors and consultants to help evaluate whether they can meet the company's training needs. Of course, if you want to conduct a training program, you need to get service from a training company. It's like an outsourcing. Now, these 13 here are the questions that you should ask to training consultants and vendors who most likely will provide the needs for the training. Number 1. How do your products and services fit our needs? How much and what type of experience does your company have in designing and delivering training? What are the qualifications and experiences of your staff? Can you provide demonstrations or example of training programs you have developed? Can you provide references of clients for whom you work? What evidence do you have that your programs work? How long will it take to develop the training program? How much will your services cost? What instructional design methods do you use? How about recurring costs such as cost related to administering, updating, and maintaining the training program. Do you provide technical support? Person analysis helps the manager identify whether training is appropriate and which employees need training. It is the process studying the employee's behavior to determine whether their performance meets the job standards and measuring their level of knowledge and skills. Task analysis. A task analysis which we defined earlier in the chapter identifies the conditions in which tasks are performed. The conditions include identifying equipment that your trainees need when performing the training. Of course, the equipment should match the job and the environment the employees works in. Where the training should take place, is it safe? Time constraints, deadlines, safety considerations like job hazards analysis, or performance standards. Stage 2. Ensuring employees' readiness for training. The second step in the training design process is to evaluate whether employees are ready for training. Readiness for training refers to employee characteristics that provide employees with the desire, energy, and focus necessary to learning from training. The desire of the trainee to learn the content of a training program is referred as motivation to learn. Attitudes and motivation. As a trainer, you need to know if the employee has the right attitude, motivation, and has the eagerness to learn from the training. Teaching a pessimist and unmotivated employee will make the learning process difficult. Basic skills. An employee must have the basic skills aligned to his or her job. For example, you are teaching a computer repairman from a technology company, but he doesn't even know how to open or separate the parts of the CPU. How would you teach him more difficult things if he doesn't even know how to repair a computer? Stage 3. Creating a learning environment. Learning permanently changes behavior. For employees to acquire knowledge and skills in training program and applies the information in their job, the training program must include specific learning principles. Educational and industrial psychologists and instructional design specialists have identified several conditions under which employees learn best. Identification of learning and objectives. As a manager, you should know what do you want your employees to learn and it must be aligned to the company's strategy. Meaningful material. Of course, providing meaningful material is not simply about using materials that are interesting or relevant to the needs of the learners. It also involves using materials that are pitched at a level appropriate to the needs of the learners. Practice. How will you do it and what method you will do to make the training more effective? Feedback. Feedback from the trainee is very important. It helps the employee to know what adjustments they should do. Observation of others. With the use of observation of others and peers, we can examine the progress of the training and it also improves the performance of the trainees. Administering and coordinating program. It's like deciding which department or branch of the company will be responsible for the training. Stage 4. Ensuring transfer of training. Refers to on-the-job use of knowledge, skills, and behaviors learned in training. Trainers should be sure that employees have the time and opportunity to train for trainees practice their new skills. The transfer of training, for example, the application of new skills back on the job, depends more on post-training variables than it does on the quality of training. When conditions back on the job inhibit the transfer of new skills from an unemployed training program, the skills don't get transferred, which is to say they don't get used. Manager support. Manager support refers to the degree to which trainees managers, number one, emphasize the importance of attending training programs, and two, stress the application of training content to the job, provides opportunities for trainees to use what they have learned on the job. So, as a manager, how can you support the training? Number one, understand the content of the training. Two, know how training relates to what you need employees to do. 3. In performance appraisals, evaluate employees on how they apply training to their jobs. Support employees' use of training when they return to work. Ensure that employees have the equipment and technology needed to use training. Prior to training, discuss with employees how they plan to use training, recognize newly trained employees who use training content, give employees release time from their work to attend training, explain to employees why they have been asked to attend training, give employees feedback related to skills or behavior they are trying to develop. If possible, be a trainer. An action plan is a written document that includes the steps that the trainee and manager will take to ensure that training transfers to the job. The plan includes 1. A goal identifying what training content will be used and how it will be used. Project problem. Training content can be in a variety of forms, including text, static visual and video, audio, and interactive elements, but in this case, you use project. So, in what way will you use it to ensure that trainees will learn something from it? Number 2, strategies for reaching the goal, including resources needed. 3, strategies for getting feedback such as meeting with the manager. A trainee can have a multiple outcomes, so we should ensure that we are on the right track towards the right results that will benefit the whole organization. The action plan directs you to the right outcomes that you want. Expected outcome. What will be different? Peer support. Transform training can also be enhanced by creating a support network among the trainees. A support network is a group of two or more trainees who agree to meet and discuss their progress in using learned capabilities on the job. This can include face-to-face meetings, via email, Twitter, Messenger, video chat, or other social networking sites. Trainees can share a successful experiences in using training with content on the job. They can also discuss how they obtain resources needed to use training content or how they cope with the work environment that interfered with use of training content. Peers should be involved in publicizing post-training experiences and benefits. Organizations and supervisors should encourage peers to motivate employees in applying training skills to the job by means of rewards and recognition. Overall, the results contribute to a better understanding of support at workplace as a predictor of transfer. Opportunity to use learned capabilities. Opportunity to use learned capabilities refers to the extent to which the trainee is provided with or actively seeks experience with newly learned knowledge, skills, and behaviors from the training program. Opportunity to perform is influenced by both the work environment and training motivation. On-the-job training is one of these. In the on-the-job training program, you can use your newly gained knowledge and apply it to your job. Technological support, performance support, and knowledge management systems. Performance support systems are computer applications that can provide as requested skills training, information access, and expert advice. Performance support may be used to enhance transfer of training by giving trainees an electronic information source that they can refer to as needed as they attempt to apply learned capabilities on the job. It refers to any tool that helps people in the moment of need perform a task. It helps the employee to apply their newly gained knowledge and solve the problems. These types of tools can be as simple as printed cheat sheet or checklist or as complex as an online knowledge base. Knowledge management systems often include communities of practice. Communities of practice are groups of employees who work together, learn from each other, and develop a common understanding of how to get work accomplished. Self-management skills training programs should prepare employees to self-manage their use of new skills behaviors on the job. Specifically, within the training program, trainees should set goals for using skills or behaviors on the job, identify conditions under which they might fail to use them, identify the positive and negative consequences of using them, and monitor the using of them. Self-management sounds like being your own boss. It means taking responsibility for your own actions, in doing things as well as you can. It shows you are able to organize yourself. The three management skills include initiative, the ability to assess and initiate things independently. Initiative is being able to work without always being told what to do. It means using your own head. Initiative requires self-belief because you need reliance and motivation to go out of your way to solve problems or do things without being reminded or asked. Organization. If you are organized in life and work, it means you can play your time and the things you have to do. You know what is most important, what should be done first, and what will take the longest. It's also about being prepared and having things you need when you need them. So, if you need certain tools or information to complete a task, you make sure you have them before you begin. Accountability. In ethics and governance, accountability is answerability, blameworthiness, and liability, and the expectation of account giving. Accountability and responsibility are similar, but they don't mean the same thing. A manager at work could give you responsibility for a task, but you could still look for someone else to blame if it all goes wrong. Or you could decide not to put the effort in because you don't really care about the results. If you say to yourself that you are accountable, it means that you take ownership of the responsibilities that came your way. You take pride in your work and you want to do it well to get the best results possible. You can be justly proud of the task success and you accept responsibility if it goes wrong. If a task you are responsible for doesn't go well, you will make it your personal mission to look for the ways to improve next time or find a better way of completing the task using your own problem solving skills. This is still accountability. It's not about the task being successful or not. It's about your attitude to the task. Now that you know what the content of the training is, you have chosen the right people, and you have laid out the learning objectives, what method you will use to deliver the knowledge. This is where the stage 5 comes in. 7.5 Overview of use of training methods. Percentage of training hours delivered by each method. As you can see, instructor-led classroom is 45%, which means it is the frequently used training methods. Next is blended learning, which is the combination of learning through electronic and online media and face-to-face teaching. Online or computer-based, which is 28%, virtual classroom, which is 15%. And the green one is social learning, social networks, blogs, discussion groups, which is 4%. And lastly, the smallest percentage is mobile, cell phones, iPads, tablets, PDAs, which is 1%. PDA means personal digital assistant. Apple iOS, Windows Mobile, and BlackBerry and Google Android are examples of PDA. Presentation methods. Presentation methods refers to methods in which trainees are passive recipients of information. Presentation methods include traditional classroom instruction, distance learning, and audiovisual training. Instructor-led classroom instruction, it typically involves having the trainer lecture a group. In many cases, the lecture is implemented with question and answer periods, discussions, or case studies. It is also the most effective way of presentation methods because the trainer is able to focus on the trainees in real time. But what if the trainer and trainees are in different geographical locations? This is where teleconferencing comes in. Teleconferencing refers to synchronous exchange of audio, video, and or text between two or more individuals or groups at two or more locations. Second, distance learning can include the virtual classroom. A third type of distance learning also includes individualized personal computer-based training. Employees participate in training anywhere they have access to a personal computer. This can also include webcasting, which involve face-to-face instruction provided online through live broadcast. The major disadvantage of distance learning is the potential of lack of interaction between the trainer and the audience. To help ensure distance learning is effective, a high degree of interaction between trainees and the trainer is necessary. That's why establishing a communication link between employees and the trainer is important. Also, instructors or facilitators should be available to answer questions and moderate question and answer sessions. Audiovisual training. Audiovisual training includes overheads, slides, and video. It has been used for improving communication skills, interviewing skills, and customer service skills, and for illustrating how procedures, such as welding, should be followed. This can be used when there is a need to illustrate how to follow a certain sequence over time, such as when reaching fax machine repair. The stop action, instant replay, and fast or slow motion capabilities of audiovisuals can be useful here. When there is a need to expose trainees to events not easily demonstrated in live lecture, or such as virtual tour of a factory, or when you need organization-wide training, but it is too costly to move the trainees from place to place. Hands-on methods. Hands-on methods are training methods that require the trainee to be actively involved in learning. Hands-on methods include on-the-job training, simulations, business games and case studies, behavior modeling, interactive video, and web-based training. These training tools can be more effective than training provided in the traditional classroom setting. It provides real-world experience by allowing the trainee to get his or her hands directly on whatever she is learning, creating a sense of empowerment. One example of a hands-on training experience is having a barista trainee make customers' beverages under a trainee's supervision. On-the-job training, OJT. Peers or managers training new or inexperienced employees will learn the job by observation, understanding, and imitation. On-the-job training uses the existing workplace tools, documents, equipment, and knowledge to teach an employee how to efficiently do their job. Training takes place within the employee's normal job environment and may occur as he or she performs their actual work, or it may happen elsewhere within the workplace using dedicated training rooms, workstations, or equipment. Apprenticeship is a work-study training method with both on-the-job training and classroom training. Apprenticeships can be sponsored by individual companies or by groups of companies cooperating with the union. The majority of apprenticeships programs are in the skilled of trades such as plumbing, carpentry, electrical work, or bricklaying. One of the most effective advantages of apprenticeships is employees can learn directly under a professional. In this method, we can ensure that the employees are really learning a lot, and employees can also earn while working. One disadvantage of apprenticeship programs is that there is no guarantee that jobs will be available when program is completed. Another disadvantage is that employees may not hire apprentices because they believe that apprentices are now narrowly trained in one occupation or with one company, and program graduates may have only company-specific skills and may be unavailable to acquire new skills or adapt their skills to changes in the workplace. It also has less wages. Minimum graduation required to enter into some apprenticeship and programs and better opportunities in full-time programs. An internship is on-the-job learning sponsored by an educational institution or is a part of an academic program. Students are placed in paid positions where they can gain experiences related to their area of study. Internships is mostly common to medical students. They were allowed to train in the hospitals for 2 years to have experience and relevant skills and to prepare them full-time work after passing licensure exam. Simulations. A simulation is a training method that represents a real-life situation, with trainees' decisions resulting in outcomes that mirror that would happen if the trainee were on the job. This type of training is very effective because it can help employees no matter what their learning style is. Avatars refers to computer depictions of humans that are being used as imaginary ghosts, co-workers, and customers in simulations. Virtual reality is a computer-based technology that provides trainees with a three-dimensional learning experience. Using specialized equipment or viewing the virtual model on the computer screen, trainees move through the simulated environment and interact with its component. Business games and case studies. Situations that trainees study and discuss case studies. And business games in which trainees must gather information, analyze it, and make decisions are used primarily for management skill development. Business games is the latest technique used by the businesses to train their employees. Business games are interesting and keep the employees engaged. This is something the employees like to use and do not get bored while working at. It can highly boost the morale of the employees. Games stimulate learning because they actively involve participants and mirror the competitive nature of the business. Salt Seller. A commodity pricing simulation, Salt Seller is a commodity pricing simulation game in which two players compete with each other over the pricing of the products. It is a price war game where the players are required to adjust their prices according to the market conditions. For example, demand and the competitors' prices and gain the largest share in the market and the profit. This helps in building up a strategic brain to react to the situations in time. Sim CEO. It is a simulation game which helps the employee or the professional to learn the skills of a CEO. This game works out on a very scale a CEO has to perform, from formulating the mission statement to the carrying out of the management activities in the business. This is a great source of training, and the skills of the professionals are put to test using the game, which stimulates the real life situations. This helps in the executive development of the business. Gazillionaire. It is one of the most adapted games in training the employees. This game is based on the demand and supply theme where the employees have to manage the demand and supply with reference to the prevailing market conditions. Studies act as another innovative method of imbibing skills to the employee. Case studies are in real-life description of incidents and situations which can be used to make specific points or to raise some problem for which the solution is required. The case studies help in presenting a hypothetical situation to the employee so that they can work on it and solve it. This helps to understand the psychology of the employee and how he reacts to a given situation. This method can be used while doing the behavioral study of the employee. Behavior modeling. Research suggests that behavior modeling is one of the most effective techniques for teaching interpersonal skills. Each training session, which typically lasts for 4 hours, focuses on one interpersonal skill such as coaching or communicating ideas. It is one of the most widely used and well-reserved psychology-based training interventions. Behavior modeling is a common component of management training programs. E-learning, computer-based training, CBT, online learning, and web-based training refer to instruction and delivery of training by computer through the internet or the web. Repurposing. Repurposing refers to the directly translating an instructor-led face-to-face training program. Massive open online courses. Is online learning designed to enroll large number of learners who have access to the internet and composed of interactive course work including video lectures, discussion groups, wikis, and assessment quizzes. Examples of massive online open courses are Khan Academy, Future Learn, Udemy, Canvas Network, and iVersity. Social media refers to online and mobile technology used to create interactive communications, allowing the creation and exchange of user-generated content. Blended learning refers to combining technology methods such as e-learning or social media with face-to-face instruction for delivery of learning content and instruction. Learning Management System (LMS) refers to a technology platform that automates the administration, development, and delivery of a company's training program. It is used anytime e-learning takes place. LMS features and functions may vary, but all LMS are typically capable of having documents uploaded, managed, and distributed to students or trainees through web-based software. Most systems also have a calendar function that allows instructors to schedule training and evaluations in a place students can easily view. Learning management systems are being used across many different industries to improve organizational efficiency. They are also used in schools for online and blended courses. If used properly, An LMS can be a valuable tool that increases the effectiveness of training while reducing cost and time spent on training. Group or team building methods are techniques that help trainees share ideas and experiences, build group identity, understand the dynamics of interpersonal relationships, and get to know their own strengths and weaknesses and those of their co-workers. Experiential programs. Experiential programs are training programs in which trainees gain knowledge in theory, participate in behavioral simulations, analyze the activity, and connect the theory and activity with on-the-job situations. Experiential learning is also called learning by doing. Edu-training involves a two-way interaction unlike the informational training methods, which are more of a one-sided. Here, the major focus is not just a mere transfer of facts and figures, but development of skills in the participants, which may or not be the case in informational training. Role-playing, equipment simulations, games, on-the-job training, or OJT behavioral modeling, case analysis, and computer-based training are some of the experiential learning methods that can be used to deliver a training session. Team training coordinates the performance of individuals who work together to achieve a common goal. Such training is an important issue when information must be shared and individuals affect the overall performance of the group. Team training strategies include cross-training and coordination training. Cross-training, team members understand and practice each other's skills. Coordination training trains the team in how to share information and decisions. Team leader training refers to training the team manager or facilitator. This may involve training the manager how to resolve conflict within the team or help the team coordinate activities or other team skills. Action learning. In action learning, teams or work groups get an actual business problem, work on it, and commit to an action plan, and are accountable for carrying out the plan. Typically, action learning involves 6 and 30 employees. It may also include customers and vendors. It helps participants solve long-standing problems that could not be solved by simple training, develop leadership ability, allow participants to take charge of their own problems, accommodates a wealth of objectives and flexibility of design. Transfer of learning is increased because participants are able to take immediate action. That's all. Thank you.